and say, we're hungry in Washington State. Look at these people. It's not just from poverty, they're huge. It is not malnutrition. These people have their head in a trough. They're also eating other people's food stamp money. They practically have their heads in troughs. These are the same people worried about what I eat. And what do I eat sometimes? Sometimes it's very delicately. It's like picking at some tuna or some milk, maybe a little fruit, and then maybe I can't process the protein that day, and I'm like, whoa. And so I'm just carefully, lightly walking around not eating much. Maybe I'm eating sunflower seeds, mostly for my protein and some milk. Maybe I can't stand the fish, 3 days in a row. It's like, stay away for 3 days. So this is Lisa Guthrie, 505 Northeast 70th Street, Seattle, Washington, 98115. And I was just stating that everybody in Washington is a cannibal. They also had a genocide that they performed against whites, white-looking Semites, and warm-skinned Europeans. It also involved starving them. And by the way, that's how some were manipulated into the cannibal zombie. I'm not going to lecture the whole time. These are security tapes, and I'm getting ready for the day because I can't stand to be in the building as a captive audience. There will be kidnapping threats, murder, rape, torture threats, morons chanting satanically, bad smells, including drugs and drug production. It's not a nice place. There's no reason to stay. It's a repulsive, disgusting place. Oh, and I need the thing that keeps my suitcase though. I always have to worry about a suitcase. And why? Because I live like I'm homeless. So I had to restart one of the tapes because I had trouble with CameraFi. And one of the persons I'm listening to, he's making a slavery threat about the laundry room. And where do I hear these people? They hide out in a green area of the building and climb up. And whoops, this is, now it's dark. Why? Because I'm changing my clothes. Sorry, my alarm keeps going off on my phone. It's something to wake you up, and I keep dismissing the damn thing. It sounds like a glockenspiel and some buzzing noise and whistling. It's somebody's idea of what the city sounds like when it's waking up, I would suppose, if you live next to or in a construction site. Hideous. That's so hideous. I will sit there and ignore it. It'll go off at 1:30, and I'll ignore it for hours, even if I'm in danger. It's like, yeah, I need to check the cameras. I need to check the alarm system in this dangerous building at 505 Northeast 70th Street, Seattle, Washington, 98115, unit 208. But it's so sickening, I sit there kind of in a torpor. I can't bear it. Henpecked by my alarm. Henpeckery. Anyway. So I'm getting ready for the day, and I hear too much activity in the hall. There's usually a kidnapping, rape, torture, murder, threat in the hall also. And it can happen absolutely when the managers are here. They're all nuts. And Seattle Housing Authority, that's a secret. They've been nuts for years. Oh, and one of them is playing, they've been scarred. They've been scarred, so they're making a face cutting threat or something. We've got boogeymen and women hiding out in this area. And you've got a lot of boogeymen and women apparently in 207 or in the crawl space. I hear one of the managers, James Suarez, is lurking. He's on crack and he's hallucinatory. He's very dangerous. Caught him acting crazy. An ex-manager, Rebecca Thompson is here as well. So I hear James Suarez. Even if he's not on duty, I've heard him. He's kind of, is tan. He is not attractive. He looks like he's part black and part Hispanic. Round head, round body, ugly, fat. Looks like South Park drawing. I smell blood, and I hear chains in 207. That's not unusual. Oh, also, these gang members like to play, already did this, and they like to play magical. One thing I've talked about before, they'll play pictures or videos of you. You're fine, you're beautiful, you worked on your face. In reality, you might be hideously mutilated in a waltzing room. Already. What's another already? Already had a baby. I've never had a baby. These are rapists. They'll portray that you have kids. That way they can blackmail you for your money. They can absorb your identity. They want an identity that keeps producing. It's not just like the $10, the $100, the $600. They want the whole thing. Sorry, I'm brushing my teeth. There's a whore playing chocolate. You're going to do this for chocolate. These retards will chant biracial. And I'm not white, but these bums will actually assume that you're just going to let an ugly black guy take you away. Remember, I'm an 8th black. So, ugly black man, boogeyman, they'll force you to have a baby with him. They've made this state into a retard zone of third world country. And let me tell you, no matter how white you are, or non-white, you don't have to go off with anybody, including black, white, or in between. And consider the state as well. They're all hideously ugly. They're boogeymen. And they're not good looking, but they think they're good looking because they've been able to force people. And they're that retarded that they thought it was good looks. It's not good looks. It's that they forced people. There's a whore playing dominance. You're going to play dominance right into the mental hospital, is what you're going to do, or the prison, with me. One of the ADT persons is here. She's a salesperson or a tech. I want to tell you, ADT can go down in the middle of the night. It's no accident. It's actually to do with accessing via remote, which is part of the package they sell. They'll actually take it down themselves to rob you. ADT is no good. They are bad. They're responsible for a lot of deaths. They're in on the genocide. And I'll tell you, when you have retarded bums working for companies, you have these retarded bums pulling down the companies. So, ADT in Washington, just like anything else in Washington, they're going to pull down that company in other states and other countries. Amazon. Got retardo zombies working for Amazon. So what are they doing? They're pulling down Amazon. Got Starbucks. Cannibal zombie retards serving food, and it reeks of blood in the Starbucks. Okay, you've got those retards. You seem to have a lot of indigent females that are insane. They probably have some sort of agreement where they're hiring mentally ill, psychotic females that need to have been hospitalized at birth. Well, what do you think they're going to do for the rest of the country, the stock? And everything is a sham business. They committed genocide in Washington against whites, white-looking, Semite, and warm-skinned Europeans. Seattle Housing Authority, they've been doing that for years. They hired crazy people. Absolutely nuts. There was one manager, he was following me around the store bragging about his mental health meds. I was sort of friendly with him. You couldn't trust him. He was a snake, but I used to give him my clothing. It was gay. Including a big, nice, warm coat. And some overalls. You know, he liked it, and jeans, guys' jeans. But he was following me around the store telling me about his mental health meds. They've been doing this for 30 years. And I'll tell you, if you complained about crime in Washington, they'll suppress you, not the crime. And they usually have a dirty cop that's involved in sort of this community service position, and it gives him access to the building, and he can skulk around and have his friends rape you, and he helps them, he teaches them tactics. Some of the worst people are ex-military and bad cops or ex-cops. There was another ex-cop here last night. That was, it's probably this morning too. Tom Wilson. He likes to portray himself as a cop. He's actually shot himself in the leg twice to obtain painkillers. He's about 6'5", can't mistake him. He looks like a peasant farmer. Dyes his hair curly blonde, thinks he's good looking, big round head. I personally do not think he's good looking. He is my estranged stepbrother. I think he's M1 and blood. My stepsister Kathleen Toomey, his sister, she is a Crip. And the rest of her family, they're M1s or something, and Bloods. Or Bloods. So, the boogeymen and women, they'll hang out in this, see where I have my hand, it's dark. There are 3 broadcasts, including of traffic. Traffic is important if you have hits or even a stalker, or if you feel creepy. Why? Like somebody's after you. Well, how do they usually take people away if it's not the same building or snuck off by people carrying you or dragging you? It's going to be a vehicle, usually. But don't assume one thing. Why? I've been being threatened with the tool shed by the firemen's, Fire Station 16. Tool shed. Tiny little thing. Took a picture of it, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. That's the one I've been threatening you with. And somebody panicked when I took a video, actually. Video. And just because I leave here doesn't mean it's not going to be dangerous the rest of the day. You'll even see people behaving in a bizarre manner. There's usually an indigent or more threatening to ambush me from 207 next door or 209, or have their buddies, quote, grab me in the parking lot. Remember, it's the whole building and the staff that need to be locked up at 505 Northeast 70th Street, Seattle, Washington, 98115. And there's a bomb in 207, or he's in a crawl space next to it, and he's saying, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, blah, 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 blah. Remember, these are all ugly, retarded people. They're what's left after a genocide. They killed whites, white-looking Semites, and warm-skinned Europeans, but they also targeted people for having green, blue, and gray eyes. And they targeted people for having talents, abilities, beauty. Of course, they targeted them for any kind of money, property, or credit. Apparently, my big fat sister, Dawn Blackmore, who's probably still on the premises, she's just a cannibal zombie, she actually killed a woman, stabbed her for $10 worth of food stamps in the 70s. And I think these people, and I'll repeat it again, I think they are tied, including my father and my mother, were tied to some of Ted Bundy's alleged victims. I have acid burns in my hands. I'll show you on this one. I'll show you on this one. That's water. Now, they're more dramatic, of course, in bed lighting. And you could actually take a frame, lighten it, and in the sunlight, these patches of burns, actually, these needle from 207. They even have gone so far as to threaten people with zombie-like drugs, zombie-inducing drugs, and antipsychotics against people who won't play. And what else? Got Dr. Jaffe and flunked out nurses. 79, some bum from University of Washington, threatening lobotomies. Probably should floss as well. The zombies can't even be trusted around. They're cannibals. They infest everything they can, including water. If you hear of anything produced or bottled here, watch out. I'm telling you. And a lot of the zombies like to threaten packaging. You're going to package, you're going to do this. You never want to play with the cannibals, zombie gang members, even if you think they're just gang members. Why? Chances are they're also Satanists, and not only would you be sending out possible drugs or something else illegal, even animal parts. They might be full of animal parts, yes, and also cannibal parts of their victims. These bums believe in, they think they're magic if they torture, rape, etc. You don't want anything to do with them. They are abhorrent. Oh, and earlier, because I have the windows open, when I went into the restroom, my restroom, I could hear them chanting about butchering me. Oh. I'm flossing. Remember, the floss and what's on it is actually probably better than the zombies. That's how disgusting they are. I could go to a garbage dump, and it's not as disgusting as the zombies. As long as it were kind of a, non-zombie garbage dump. Now, if you think something's going on, like if you've also heard my alarms going off, if you've heard people cruising by the doors, one thing that would help me very much, call the president, call Homeland Security, tell them what's going on. Call in another state, call in another country. You tell them about Washington, even if I'm dead. And remember, even the dirty FBI, well, that would be redundant to say, even the FBI is, they're involved. How else did 30 million plus go missing in 20 years? They've also been conducting a coward's war against white-looking, Semite, and warm-skinned European, and then groups, like I said, green-eyed, blue-eyed, gray-eyed, talented, pretty, nice, normal. Also, they wanted people's money, property, credit. They've been doing that for 80 years in Washington. My sister's been involved at least since 1959 with her husband. That you get these weird connections, might not be an accident she met her husband. If she was already involved in gang crime, it's a secret society. They might have revealed to each other whom they were. Oh, how ideal. Two crime families coming together. Beautiful, huh? But Dawn was always full of avarice. Big, pompous woman. And Larry Blackmer, well, there you go. For me. going to say that'll go down in the middle of the night, and there are actually people in this building that have bragged about it. And so that means it's not just the ADT person, it's whomever they give the code to. And Michael Benjamin Davis Wood had stayed here. He was kicked out with his mother. I'd known them 30 years. He was bragging about doing something to the ADT system. He was also told not to touch it when he and his mother stayed here. It's not really legal for other people to touch it, and so I adhered to those rules. But I caught him sneaking around, and I was probably drugged at least once while they were here, by the way. And they were making rape, torture, murder threats. And it's like, instead of actually desperate people, there were people desperate to commit a crime. And they bragged about cannibalism at the Fred Meyer at, well, it's like 13723 Lake City Way. You know, that's maybe not the exact address. And the way he said it, he was talking to his mother, kind of gushingly, like happily, and relating, like you would say something and like talk about, you know, oh, they had great peaches. He said, they assured me it was a person, and he was so happy about that. And it was hamburger. And they cooked hamburger, and I'll tell you, I've never smelled hamburger like that before. I used to get hamburger. It was relatively bloodless. Remember that? It doesn't smell like pukey blood. It would smell like water. It was like it was mixed with water. That's normal hamburger to me, mixed with water. It doesn't smell like a butcher shop or a torture chamber at U of W or something, University of Washington Hospital. It doesn't smell like a hideous smell coming out of the emergency room. Excuse me, I have to take a moment to curse zombies and also pray. And Michael Benjamin Davis Wood and his grotesque mother, Carol Davis Wood, they've proven where they got their money. So did his cousins, Dave Hill, Ivana Hill. Oh, and by the way, you wake up, every cannibal zombie is insisting, this is what happened 14 years ago. The man on the street that you don't know says you owe money. The black Nazi, you're sitting near the food bank, you're charging your phone, the thing tells you you're gonna write him a check. Everybody started extorting and punishing, and I didn't realize that they were committing an ongoing genocide. Remember, they also have threatened other states, other countries. You don't want them coming to your countries. You don't want them coming across the state line. They need to be locked up. Even if you say organically they're zombies, well, whatever it is, they're gone. What am I doing? I'm washing, and I've learned to wash in less than a gallon of water and sometimes even wash my hair. And it's better than being burned. I also have burns around my leg area, and there's so little vanity I have. I just look down, which I never do, and I don't see any of the burns, but you know, it's, oh wait, yes I do, sort of a mottled area. So the pigment is mottled, and believe me, it wasn't that skin darkening or lightening that some people have where it's uneven. There are a couple, including what blacks get. Oh, and one of the retardos here that's in 207, it's an ugly, retarded zombie boogeyman thing. He lives in the building, I guess. He's slightly tan. He has black, brown eyes. or black eyes. You can't tell his irises from his pupils, and he's like the other boogeyman. And he's making a rape threat. And remember, he's ugly, and a whore's making a threat about slavery. He's actually been on video on Alfred, or one of the others, and he passed in front of me after he accused me of filming him. And he's playing policeman. Remember, these things are psychotic and retarded. He's 80 years of welfare, by the way. And he's psychotic and retarded. He also doesn't believe he looks like a boogeyman. So that thing in 207 is making kidnapping and slave threats. It's the ugly Hispanic guy. Remember, I'm not white, so I'll say whatever I like, and I should be able to anyway. Well, he doesn't realize he looks like a boogeyman. Why? Because the dirty cops and just about everybody else let these bastards drag away women, and some went with them so they wouldn't be killed. So he thinks he's handsome. He's ugly, he's retarded, with nothing to talk about, like the rest of the state. Remember, they killed off anyone smart. He's ugly. He doesn't realize he's ugly and retarded, though. That's how you can tell these things are retarded. And he's threatening me for money. He's in 207. So it's common at Green Lake Plaza for people to extort money and to try to throw you downstairs to do laundry for the cannibal zombies, or to stick you in with the ugly old men, like that thing. And to have you as a slave, even for some of those potty monsters in wheelchairs or walkers. I call them potty monsters because they're constantly eating. It's not that they're malnourished and that's why they're fat. It's because some of them are walking around, and they have walked around with food stamps of other people for years. My sister was, and it probably is. She'll kill people for $40 worth of food stamps. Dawn Blackmer's still here, big fat ass, you'll recognize her. She's been estranged for 18 years. She tried to cheat me over the sale of the house of my deceased mother. Big fat ass. A cousin formerly named Logston is here. She's been married twice. She is a crack hoe. She looks like a sea monster with a long neck and too large of a head. She has a medium tan complexion. She's quite dark in comparison. She was quite dark over the summer. She had her 1970 hairstyle, looking like she'd stepped out of that same small town, Port Orchard, on a lot, was it over a road. These are not untraceable morons. None of them are. These bums are oh, and one of them's making a studio thread about art, where you'd be producing art for scumbags. Nope. You need to help me get these things rounded up and arrested. Lock up the whole state, you can't go wrong. They're things. Earlier, they were planning a camping scenario and packing me up. Why? So they could have my apartment, including the shit next door. Why? Because I won't let them in, too. Nobody ever videotaped them. And a lot of times, my videos, I've still been broken into, and the video went smash. It's on video, I'm snoring, and the video camera went smash. It's telephone. Who did that? It's on video. Oh, and one of the retards is chanting, "Have you fixed things?" Remember, these ugly males think you won't notice people like them dragging off people, especially when they've scarred you. Oh, it's ugly. We get to drag it off now. She'll be a slag. We scarred her. We took away her opportunities for everything. My niece, Melissa Udd, keeps telling me about how she's going to further take away my opportunities by carving my face. They've also had me gang raped by bums at Aurora DSC, 2 bums at least, that one had AIDS and one had hepatitis. And they bragged about it, and they were letting out war whoops the next day. And that was a retarded, ugly moron. A black guy lives near the laundry room, 2nd floor. These retards will call them Johns. They're not, they're rapists. And you'll have people following you around, if you're on the genocide list, insisting you're a prostitute, even though you hate men so much here, you'd hate them if they came near you. And that's what kind of woman I am now. I hate males. I hate the females. And if a man touched me, I would probably beat him up. And I have a temper. And another one of the ugly males that's in on raping people when they're unconscious will stick a needle into you. That's an ugly fat man with hepatitis. He looks white, he's retarded, he's been diagnosed as retarded, both have, and then you've got retarded with head injury, the black guy. And remember what else they'll do to people on the genocide list? They'll try to make you crippled, head injured, blind, deaf, ugly, sick. Who's in on it? Dirty cops. Which dirty cops were here today? Officer Bobby, West Precinct. Ugly fat man, North Precinct. Officer Rob Howard. They're all terrorists. Somebody just said I'm making them clown. They're clowns anyway. They're just evil clowns, and there's a lot of them. That's all it ever was. When you have people training morons, also with military or gang tactic that they glean from the military, and also security or electronics or medical, that doesn't mean they're smart. It means there's a lot of them, and they had constant flow of information. Whereas I had to learn backward what was going on, like reverse technology. So remember, start your terrorist list, but to make it easier, just put everybody in Washington. There you go. Let one out, the rest are bad. And I'll prove it to you over and over. One of them's chanting bang. Oh, and you even have Nicholas at times from Wells Fargo Bank coming here, and a couple of the whores from Wells Fargo. But then you've got past bankers, my niece, and possibly, I forgot, Steve, her husband, Melissa Udd, and possibly Steve Udd worked at Key Bank years ago. So what do these gang members do that have had business training? They bring that into the gang. Where do you think they learned how to do scams? And I'll tell you, with Wells Fargo, it's a lot more than what they were accused of. What is it? They covered up genocide, too. And Nicholas and the other bums in the bank have conversed to like zombie gang members. Right as I'm in the bank, they're plotting crimes. They're in on destroying people's faces. Why? They use old school tactics. Why? So you're unrecognizable, you lose your identity. Old school. And then they've got all these witnesses. Oh, it's not Lisa. And nobody investigates. Why would they? Larry Blackmore is still here. I heard that the moron. He's Zeta in blood. So is Don, if you're wondering. Don Blackmore. Oh. Here's a van. It's a white van. Captured on one video. It always is vibe when there's a thread. Same kind of van. If it matches the number of the cab, yeah, it's the same one. I always look for, when you want to identify a truck, including a moving truck, get all the numbers you can. Doesn't matter if you have too many, get them. And try to separate what's where. So, you've got numbers on the cab, get it. You've got numbers on the truck, get it. You've got a license plate, get it. If you, Alan, one of the morons hiding, I can still hear him. It's an ugly blonde. He dyes his hair blonde from gray. He is a slaver. He's a retard. He usually has a black truck out there. Oh, it's there today. It's on the right. It's covered with a plastic canopy. Here comes a white car. So, you know, those numbers on trucks, important, including separate, or if those cabs and truck parts are not separate. Get whatever number you can plus the license. Make, very important. Get the company name. Any information you can get. I don't even care, get the font color, get it. What's the font color? Well, I can't read it, but it looked like it was scratched off and it was faded red. Beautiful. Remember, I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you what I do. Seems to me, the more descriptive you are, the better. And remember, these are sick retards that will try to plan an ambush as I leave and even try to carry me up into the ugly Hispanic male's or the ugly white-looking male's apartment to be a slave. Or to be a slave for one of their ugly friends. Ugly old cannibal. Including an ugly old man. He's black. He's gone from a possible wheelchair, then a walker, and then a cane. So, thereby proving what? That he needs to be rounded up, put in an institution. He can't live alone. Can't bust him for being criminals. Bust them, get them out of the practicing world, get them put in mental institutions, nursing homes, wherever. Brushing my teeth, I flossed, but I drank milk. It's kind of icky, you know. One of the other retards here, slaver, cannibal, zombie thing. It's an ugly black male with bald head. 60s, ugly, hideous thing. He's actually hiding from New York gangs, in case you're wondering. Why do I mention what gangs are in? Well, you can stir them up against each other. Who cares? I don't. They've taken my safety. Do I care about theirs? But I'll tell you one of the funniest things that you could ever do. Get these retards busted by, or arrested or committed, yeah, by someone who doesn't care about gang loyalty. So, the doctor in New York who gets the doctor here fired for practicing above his licensure, doctor in New York's not going to play with that gang. Maybe he's another gang. Get him committed and arrested. That could happen. Someone is not impressed with the gang ties. Maybe they get him kicked out of their apartment. Maybe they get him in a nursing home. coming and going with threats. There's no way you can make this place pleasant. You're living in a war zone. And the only way you'd be happy in Washington is if you're grossly a cannibal zombie. One of the whores, she's in there. It is Carla, formerly Logston. She is a crack hoe. She and I have been absolutely estranged for years. I don't give a damn about Carla. The last time I saw the ugly whore, she was married to an old man near the water. She had 2 children, and the ugly old man was seemingly tolerant of those ugly children. The ugly old man was into boats. It was sort of laughed about because it was an ugly old man. My family was laughing about that. I didn't meet him. I think I had a picture of him. It was like, which ugly old man? I may have known the ugly old man. It's like maybe it's the guy at the post office. Maybe it's the guy that you work with. Which ugly old man? But really, I wasn't that interested in Carla. She and I'm 54, and that ugly whore and I stopped being friends when I was about 18 or 17. She's grotesque. And interestingly enough, she's so bad, she was actually robbing her brother-in-law that was spoiling the family. That's, the hillbilly cousins. He was known for spoiling his wife and his wife's siblings. And the mother, and Carla was letting people shoplift from his highway robbers store. Washington. He was delivering for PI. His name is Mike Jake. He's also a cannibal zombie bum now, and he probably was a Bloods years ago. Blood, at least. His cannibal zombie thing. His brother probably is as well. His brother was shorter with dark hair. He had blonde hair. He's not good looking. I'll tell you what he looked like. Traceable, remember. He looked like, I don't know if you ever saw the old Pee Wee Herman show with the genie thing and the blue face. That's what this thing looked like. Not good looking, kind of this twisted face, like instead of nice features, it's like this twist on it. Like Nellie Olson. Nellie Olson he's abnormally tall, just like Tom Wilson. This thing's 6'7". His name is Mike Jake. Remember also my 6th sister, Dawn Mary Blackmore? They'll like, it's your boyfriend from high school, and he's here to kidnap you. It's your best friend from 3rd grade. They're going to kill you, and you're going to let them. It's the indigent Hawkon from Roosevelt Self-Storage. You're going to go live with him, and we're going to take over your apartment because you paid rent. And you want the shower and the stove and the refrigerator. Now, why would they want the stove, refrigerator, and shower? They're cannibal zombies. They also want to hide what they do. So that's why they want a shower. It's very important. That's folks. I'm laughing at something. I'm laughing at a piece of soap. Here's the soap. Perfectly, almost oval, but tiny. Oops, I dropped it. Oh well. Okay, so, getting the point? And then with constant trauma. Am I schizophrenic? No, I have to go into survival. Thinking about something normal. Ready for attack though. Normal. My own place. Praying. Think about Latin. Not caring what cannibal zombies think about my scarred face, because they're all cannibal zombies and you don't want them anyway. Think about God, think about saving animals, my own place. Oops, longer. Gotta be ready. Just like last night. Ugly Crypt mail sent by Karen Hodriasen of Elizabeth Gregory. Ugly Crypt, just nasty, black Nazi mail. And I basically informed him I was not afraid. Ugly Crypt. And remember, retards here, you still need to have 207 blamed, even if they're hiding in a crawl space and, you know, after they've shot me and they go down. Blame 207. Make sure oh, and there's an ugly retard claim visit. Nope. You're going to be visiting a mental hospital, prison, or jail, and you will be gone. And I will make sure you're too ugly to visit anybody. Even gang-scarred women don't want you. You're ugly. Oh, they're playing outside guard. Nope. Mental hospital and prison. And that's an ugly retard from Elizabeth Gregory home. She looks like a football player. She's friends with, very psychotic, she's black Nazi. Ugly, hideous thing. She looks like transgender. Her counterpart, Sunday, has purple zit scars. Long nose, she has a piercing. Big ass sometimes, depending on the weight gain. Looks like a granny. And that thing thinks she's with Tupac Shakur. Silver, like one of your modern, sort of like a Jeep minivan just drove up. Sunroof, looked like sunroof had a slot, so it's two sides of the sunroof. Nobody's mysterious to these, nobody's going to be mysterious here. If you come after me, you're going to get named. Sunday the retard's here, and she is a retardo. And the retardo will kill people and torture them. Then she'll jabber about the immaculate heart of Mary. She jabbers about being with Tupac Shakur. He's been dead 20 years. Cops love bitches like this. Why? They cover up for them. They'll do anything they want. They're that retarded. They're tenacious. They get a hold of an idea because they're retarded that they're cops. They're cops. They stay cops in their mind forever. She's going to scream on the mental health journey with the others that they're cops. They're FBI. They're CIA. They're cops. They think they're cops. Remember that. They're not cops. You can't make people cops that are crack whores and mental health people, you know, like mentally ill. You can't make a truck driver become a cop. You don't have a posse. It's not legal. Remember that. But the cops are mentally ill, so they think you can. Remember, there were 3 dirty cops here, according to what was boasted. Officer Rob Howard. Then there's a fat ass from North Precinct, also. And Officer Bobby of the West Precinct. Also, these bums, Siren. One of the biggest, oh, and there's a white Blazer that just drove by. Blazer van thing. Now, oh, and there's a whore chanting or a bum chanting gentlemen coming in. Remember, they're going to call themselves gentlemen, Johns, holy men. The worst, one of the worst uses of the word holy men. They're going to call child molesters and other rapists holy men. They're not holy men, they're rapists. Then you've got another one, he's a black Nazi moron also. All of these people are morons. He's ugly, he's threatened slavery repeatedly. Remember, I'm not even white. His mother looks like a man and she walks like this. He thought he'd have a slave for his mother. He's ugly, he looks like a jack-o'-lantern. with little tiny slitted eyes and a big nose. And but remember, he thinks he's good looking because he's shot his way in, he's threatened his way in, he's hacked his way in. He's ugly as sin. He stinks. He's retarded like the others. Ugly. Pukes. Actually, puke is prettier than Washington. Pukes. The cross. Yay. Opposite of Satanism. Oh, and there's a thud underneath, and I let you know this is a bathroom underneath me. A public bathroom. And if someone thinks they're going to come in, well, the refrigerator's just going to have to move on top of whatever trap door or whatever device they've come in through. Then you might get some notice from the police. Oh, how did that fall through the floor? And what's the guy under the refrigerator doing? I don't know, but it's on YouTube. Remember, Don and Larry Blackburn have been breaking into people's homes and apartments for years via these methods. Trapdoors, chopping through. Now, apparently, there are some women that include relatives, non-relatives. Melissa Utt, Kathy Toomey, Susan Wilson, and the non-relative, which the stepsisters and brothers, they're estranged anyway. They're nothing. Haven't even seen them except sneaking around. They were sneaking around last 12 years. And then one trip to the hospital to see their father. So anyway, there's a whore playing laundry business. So she's making a threat, a slavery threat, about a laundry business. And you know what these people like to do on video? They'll try to make it appear as though they're saving you, rescuing you. They offered you thousands of dollars to live in a mansion with them and do their laundry, and you're so dumb. You chose a dumb. When in reality, they drove you out of everywhere, and you're not going to supply anything for bums kicking in your door. Big rooms here. Oh, we were saving her. I'm here to rescue her. And she wouldn't let me. I'm her boyfriend from high school. There's nobody. Don't listen to them. They're kidnappers, rapists, torturers, murderers, cannibals. They're zombies. There is no one. Oh, I gave her an opportunity to take care of my children for $6,000 a month in a mansion. Well, where they get the mansion? They probably killed, they have 80 people's identities. They killed thousands of people. They've got their money too. And the children would involve their children and a front covering up the fact that child molesters, murderers, torturers, rapists, using their own kids that are involved in the crime. And even if they did rescue me like that, no thank you. I'd rather live in a war-torn country in a shack with the wind coming in before I live with these bugs in a mansion, in a condo. I'd live out in a tent, as long as we're safe. You have to be careful. One, they'll play, Lisa went camping. That's what they were doing this morning. Lisa's going camping with Hakan on I-5 so she can live with an indigent bum that's retarded and stinky so we can take over her apartment. We're so brilliant. Even though Hakan is a creepy, old, cannibal thing, it's an old woman. Ugh. Retarded. He urinates in jars in his storage. That's according to what he stated. He also blows his nose, including where you're walking, inside at Roosevelt Self-Storage. Any relationship the gang members can exploit, they will. So what was the relationship? Oh, he talks people's legs off about characters that he doesn't even develop. He's not even creative. And he writes stories using old, established characters that are already in use. And he thinks he's brilliant. So he's going to write a story with the name Superman and Wonder Woman. Super Squirrel. Mickey Mouse will be in there. And they'll be in a steampunk universe, and he is just so original. Remember, he's read thousands of these types of stories. And at one point, a Black Nazi, where he goes to Roosevelt's self-storage, is very paramilitary up there as well. She was talking about slavery for Hawthorne and saying something about one talented writer. So the one talented writer would have other people of talent writing for him. And so what does that mean about Hawthorne? What does it mean about any white or white looking in Washington that's apparently flourishing? It means they're in with the Black Nazis. They're on one of them's chanting, "You're going to talent Hawthorne." And what else do these Satanists do? I put my cords together, etc. They actually believe they can cut out the chakra area and make somebody talented or pretty. So that's why murderers are going to have very funny wounds if you find the body ever, if they haven't been eaten like by these cannibals or used in medical, or even one woman was boasting about shampoo. So that's Washington State, by the way. So chakra areas, wounds, head, forehead, neck, chest, stomach, groin, back. Some people believe the hands. I would be wary of any cult-like places that are inordinately interested in your chakras. Any chakra cleaning areas? Anybody doing chakra work, stay away. Just like the ghost hunter groups, stay away. UFO groups, stay away. What are they doing? They're covering up the crimes and playing aliens. They're even going to play Taken. 30 million were taken, just like that show. They went up to heaven. UFO took them. Remember, they're psychotic freaks. And the boogeyman in your basement, it's supposed to be a ghost. And Charlotte Lefebvre and Philip Nixon and Bill Beatty, they were all going to help people that are basically crack addicts and subversives that are anti-government, playing government. That's the first thing the anti-government does. They play government. If it involves lower-end government people, they're going to play their own government. And they're all the while telling you the government did it when it's actually gang members, including Black Nazis. Remember, I'm not white, but I should be able to say what I like regardless, huh? Now, here's the worst part of the day. And I don't like to do it on camera, but it's halfway done. Makes me very cranky. Oh, not that. I just knocked down the phone. That makes me cranky too. What is it? Oh, there's a bum playing gang order. You go away with me. Nope. It might also be an ugly turd basket with my half-brother, Michael Tudhope. He's a kidnapper. There's nobody interested in any family. Goodbye, people. Leave me alone. This is your announcement. There is nobody in Washington. You called me an alien, you called me a hybrid, you had people chase me around, I'm not kidding. Then leave me alone. Ugliest woman in Washington, ugliest, nastiest woman. Throw the glass, you become probably, yeah. Nastiest, pretending I'm a prostitute, gang raping. Nastiest. Allegedly, and I believe it, broadcast, which Washington does anyway to others, including in public, will broadcast bathroom pictures of people and video. Nastiest person on the internet. Nastiest person in ranting about marking it. These things are very much into mutilating the face and crippling people. Debilitating. Ow, my foot doesn't hurt. Debilitating. Debilitation. But anyway, they're like receiving a mark. So remember, all these ugly people, like Purple Zit Woman, Sunday, looks like a granny body. She's cut people up. She's tortured pretty people. Same with the rest of them. They've tortured smart people. They have no talent. You can see in the state there's no talent. The photography, oh, even on the buses, like the bus shelters, it's like this amateur crap you can't even believe. Metro, it's like, oh, they're big photographers are retarded. Maybe they're, I don't know what's wrong with them. It must be the double vision from all the crap. You wait, it's going to show up. The least talented state anywhere, any place, anytime. The least. And this ugly Hawk-on thing, he goes to Roosevelt Self-Storage. Now, what's the relationship? Well, I've talked to him before, and also I've paid him to help me with the storage. They also thought they'd keep an open, what? An open blackmail about Hawk-on, where I'd have to pay him $600 a month. You know, instead of the $60 and then like 10 to 12 one month and then 13 the next, like I did because he helped me move some stuff in the storage. Oh yeah, you're gonna pay you're gonna pay him $600 a month because you talked to him, so we're gonna enslave you and it'll look so normal. There's a whore playing paying and reaching in. And remember, they also think they're magical. So you can surmise what paying and reaching in is, too. Just, they're mentally ill. They're hallucinatory. And also, the dirty cops are hallucinatory that come here. I've seen actually, like, oh, let's see, what did I have in my hand? A phone? Looked like a phone, but there was some old cop, and I think he was going to shoot me. A white van just came in with dark windows in the front and none on the sides or back. Probably none in the back. It's recorded on one of the YouTube broadcasts. So that thing, it looked like an old man with Alzheimer's, basically, and I think he was going to shoot me because I had a phone. Not a coincidence, maybe. Oh, we're going to pretend she's evil. They've even, like you'll hear, it's the devil by the Satanists. It's the devil. It's the devil they tortured and ate and drove off in the car of, and they're sleeping in the bed of the devil, apparently. And they've been using that devil's ID for years. So what also would they want to do to you? A guy in orange just drove his bike in. It's probably a victim's orange thing. Keep you in bed all day as a rape victim. Shut up. It's very popular. Carved up, tortured. Including the dirty freaks in this building. They've done it to people. So you're sick. Maybe you can't get out because you're sick. Who else has done that? My own family. Every plot they've ever done to anyone shall be revealed. Larry Blackbird's still here. Remember, he's a Zeta blood. Stirred up. 8 crypts at least are in the building. By the way, there's quite a few crypts that hide out at Elizabeth Gregory home, including the black transgender with the puffy face that always threatens to rape me. It's popular among transgenders here. including Lyness. She looks white or white with other. She's probably here. She's gross. She's got acne. There's a whore playing blah, 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 your own mother. My mother's been dead 18 years. So any whore yapping about my mother, including a dirty crackho cousin like Carla Logston, not gonna work. It's a dirty, moronic crackho. She couldn't even get through high school. And she was the town whore later, and she complained about, oh, people would try to stop and molest her when she had to try to go to high school, so she quit. Oh, well, why did she become the town whore later when her name was Carla Logston? Oh, seems that there might have been another excuse for not going to school. And remember, Karen Hodriason is their Crip connection at Elizabeth Gregory Home. Your Crip connection for Elizabeth Gregory Home. Introducing Karen Hodriason. And yes, that ugly retardo, Lyness, is here. And creepy Lyness, by the way, I was volunteering. I actually took a picture for Lyness, and then she put it in her book on transgenders, which is written like by a schizophrenic. It's written by what it is, an uneducated schizophrenic. And the uneducated schizophrenic didn't give me the credit even of mentioning who took the picture. It was quite a homey picture with the Lyness pulling something out of the oven. I won't volunteer for those people now. They're cannibal zombies, and they cater to black Nazis. They're fraught with gang crime, and they've actually cooked up babies there. So these are all retarded, gross people. You don't want them? You don't need them. Why would you? Retardos. Retardos. So I'm breaking down some of the broadcasts. Break it down. And is it psychotic to say that these things gather? No. Now, it's actually more psychotic that my sister's playing an evil game of This Is Your Life. And it also shows you that there's nothing mentally left of someone who shows up 30 years later to kill you because they're in a gang and they're showing you they're a zombie. So they're showing you there's nobody left in Washington. They're illustrating it very well, including the guy in kindergarten that sat by you. Your ex-teacher, your whomever. Oh dear, this is way down. There goes this one.